Hi, today I'm gonna be talking about the one and only Zizou, aka Zinedine Zidane. I'll be going over his early life, his early pro career, and how his pro career progressed, and at the end we'll also be diving into his coaching successes as well. The French midfielder, whose full name is Zinedine Yazid Zidane, which I must say, good job to whichever parent named him that. It just sounds like it's destined for greatness, and great he was. But before we get into his playing and coaching career, we need to dive into his humble beginnings. He was born on 23rd June 1972 in Marseille. His parents, Maïla and Malika, came from Algeria. They had to immigrate to Paris, trying to escape the Algerian War. His father was a very hardworking man, and his mother was a housewife, taking care of him and his four siblings. Zidane gives credit to his father when he's asked about his work ethic, since his father had him on a very strict upbringing. At the age of 5, he is introduced to a sport called football. He found it on the local playing fields around his living area. At the age of 10, he was in his first actual football team, US St. Henry. By the age of 14, he gets to attend Krebs, which is a 3-day training camp, where he gets spotted by a scout from AS Cannes. And this is how his professional career begins. He goes to Cannes for a 6-week testing period. He ends up playing there for 4 years. In the early beginnings of his career, he was very prone to getting enraged at the provocations from the opposing teams. He also spent a lot of time on punishment duties because he got into fights. His first coach, Jean Verrad, encouraged him to channel his anger and focus it on his own game. His pro debut was on May 18, 1989, and his first goal for the club was February 10, 1991. For this moment ended up being extra special since a chairman from Cannes promised him a car when he scores his first goal. At Cannes, he showed glimpses of greatness that was to come, and with this team, they actually did pretty good, ending the season in 4th place, which is the highest position for the club in 76 years. After the 91 season, he gets transferred to Girondins de Bordeaux, where he played for another 4 years. In 1996, he was named the best player in League One. Funny thing about this was he was actually getting looked on by many teams at the time, one of them being Newcastle, but they determined that he was not good enough for English Premier League. Boy, were they wrong. After some stellar performances for Bordeaux and the French national team, the big boys come knocking. Juventus, after winning the UCL in 1996, they see a young French star on the rise, and they see the vision. The very next season, his impact is felt. Juve wins the Serie A and the Intercontinental Cup. He was named the best foreign player of Serie A and in the top 11 team of Europe. But at least in the UCL, Juventus was not very fortunate. I mean, yes, they made it to the finals 3 times straight, but 2 times they lost. While as a team they didn't have luck, he was starting to get the accolades, winning the FIFA Player of the Year 3 times and the Ballon d'Or. The year is 2001. Real Madrid are forming the Galacticos. They decide to acquire Zidane, and for him, they give an arm and a leg, paying 77.5 million euros, which I know by today's standards is nothing for a player of this caliber, but back in the day, this was the biggest transfer fee in history, and it stayed that way for another 8 years. If I'm already talking about Zidane in Real, we have to mention this goal from Zidane, widely regarded as the best goal in UCL history, the Zidane volley. The reason why this goal has so much meaning behind it isn't just because he scored a banger, but it's when the banger occurred. And this was in the final of the UCL, when the score was 1-1. Surprisingly, he ended up winning only one La Liga title, but as an individual, he did great with Real, winning more FIFA Player of the Year awards and another special award, the European Player of the past 50 years. While technically he could have played for Algeria, he never chose that route. He chose the French national team for pretty obvious reasons, much more winning in that team. His first medal actually came with a U21 French team. In 1996, he plays in the Euros, where he played pretty well, but nowhere near his full potential. He does, however, score a goal in the quarterfinals and the semi-final games. Both are scored from the penalty spot. Sadly for them, they do not advance. They lose to Czech Republic in the semi-finals. 1998 World Cup. This was played on their home court in France, and boy did they deliver, winning all the group stage games with ease, Zidane racking up assists. Also, he got a red card in the second game for stomping on a player, and that left his team without him in the round of 16. But they make it through against Paraguay with a 1-0 win. Next comes Italy, who they defeat 4-3. Then semis against Croatia, they also win 2-1. And then in the final, they meet with Brazil. Brazil being the defending champs and the favorites. The world thought it was a tough game for France, but it ended up being pretty easy actually, with France winning 3-0. There is a scandal about this game, but if you want to hear more about that, you can check out my video on Ronaldo Nazario. 2 years later, basically the same team also wins the Euro 2000. France dominates through every stage of the tournament. Zidane is also heard saying that this tournament he believes that he was at his absolute best. In 2002 World Cup, he gets injured and France without their talisman end up not performing, losing against Senegal, drawing with Uruguay, and in the last game against Denmark, he is rushed off pitch prematurely. They also lose that game 2-0. 2004 Euros, they start off well with a 2-1 win against England, where Zidane scores from a free kick and a penalty, both in stoppage time. They draw with Croatia 2-2 and beat Switzerland 3-1. But in the quarters, they get eliminated by eventual champions Greece. 2006 World Cup. The world knows this is Zidane's final tournament, since he already announced his retirement from Real Madrid. France performs really well in this tournament. They go undefeated in the group stage, beating Togo 2-0 and drawing with Switzerland and South Korea. Round 16, they beat Spain 3-1. Round 8, they beat Brazil 1-0, and semifinals, they beat Portugal 1-0 as well. In the final, they face Italy. Everybody knows this was Zizou's final game. In the 7th minute, he scores a Penenka penalty, but then just 12 minutes later, Maserati equalizes. And then for the next 61 minutes, the game goes scoreless. And in overtime, it happens. The most famous clip of Zidane. I bet you all seen this clip and memes about this. He headbutts Maserati in the chest and gets sent off in the 110th minute. France end up losing it on penalty, with Italians shooting perfectly from the 11-meter mark. Well, now you might think his player career was so impressive that there's no way he's as good of a coach, right? Well, you'd be completely wrong. Not only was his coaching career impressive, one could argue that it was more impressive. Okay, he starts it off in 2010 as a special advisor to Mourinho. Then he gets an opportunity to coach the Real Madrid B team in 2014. And after that, he gets on Real Madrid's team as an assistant coach. But in 2016, after Rafa Benitez gets fired, he gets the head coach position. He starts it off on fire, winning the first game as a coach 5-0 against Deportivo. And also, a worthy mention, he beats Barcelona in an El Clasico 2-1, ending Barcelona's 39-game unbeaten run. He continues his streak by winning against Manchester City in the UCL semifinals. He of course goes on to win the UCL championship. He does it on penalties against Atletico Madrid, the 2016-17 season. This is his first full season as a coach, and he does not stop winning. Beats Sevilla for the 2016 UEFA Super Cup, wins the 2016 FIFA Club World Cup, wins the La Liga title with 93 points, defends his UCL title from previous year by beating Juventus. Okay, you're thinking, now this gotta be it. Next year he slows down, right? Well, think again. He starts off his 2017-2018 season by winning another UEFA Super Cup, second one in a row. A few days later, he beats Barcelona 3-1 in the first leg and then 2-0 in the second leg of Supercopa de España. And in the UCL, he won that again for the third year in a row. This time, he beats Liverpool in the final. For these performances, he gets awarded as the best FIFA men's coach in 2017. And then after all this, the club owners decided it's time for change. They got tired of winning, I guess, and they decide that Zidane is no longer the best option for them. How did that turn out for them? Well, they suck. They got eliminated from Copa del Rey by Barça. They lose La Liga to Barcelona. They lose 4-1 to Ajax in the UCL. And yeah, after that, management comes to their senses and gives the guy his old job back. But after returning, the team just isn't the same. He does, however, win another La Liga title. But that's pretty much it. In 2021, he retires for good this time. Alright guys, you made it to the end of the video. If you're still listening to this, first of all, you got an impressive attention span. And second of all, let me know down in the comments so I can personally thank you. And if you enjoyed, please leave a like. It helps out a lot with the algorithm. Also, let me know what other legends you want to hear about. Peace.